It's very exciting to be working with a professional orchestra because I feel like this is the only opportunity I'll ever have to compose for such a well-known orchestra. My piece is based loosely on the book by Shel Silverstein, The Giving Tree, and it follows the exact story between the tree and the boy who learned to give.
I have been aware of the Esprit Orchestra since its very first concert in 1983, which I attended. So when 5 years ago I spoke to Alex Pauk and asked him if he would become involved in our music program, and he agreed to become so involved, I was very, very happy.
The Creative Sparks Mentoring Project is a project where professional composers associated with the Esprit Orchestra guide students in the composition of pieces of music that will be played by members of the Esprit Orchestra or student performers or a combination of Esprit's professionals and students.
As a percussionist, you always want to do more and more and more, and you always want to go from la 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 to like really, really quiet. So I tried to do that. I have a couple triple fortes in my piece, trying to get some strength out of those players.
Working with student composers has been a real treat because you have such fresh ideas, fearless about trying these things out. The other terrific thing is to have heard how different these pieces were from one another, the pieces that the students composed. This is an area where they can explore fresh ideas and be encouraged to have kind of an unfettered approach.
I think it's really special, and it's part of the privileges at Earl Haig, the Claude Watson program, because it doesn't really happen a lot, and it's really rare. It's special to work with professionals, especially. And I think it's nice to get that professional orchestral experience, especially for people who haven't had it before, and to see how they work.
So my piece is called Winter's Dusk. It's based loosely on a poem of the same name about a mother telling a fairy tale to her children, but at the same time a spirit is listening, and the spirit is of winter. So I wanted to use a lot of the symbols to kind of represent a spirit, and I used also a lot of bassoon because it seems to me to be reminiscent of a wintry feeling.
I think perhaps the most rewarding experience comes at the very end, which we're here now at the rehearsal, when these kids get to take these abstract scribbles that they've been working out on a piece of paper and actually hear all the instruments perform it. It's a very exciting and unique experience for them.
I think the strongest point in my mind to make this piece interesting for a young audience as well as an older audience was to have an unusual solo instrument. And I think this solo instrument, the electronic valve instrument, also very well represents the idea that inspired the piece. This very acerbic and unusual and moody woman called Elizabeth Salander, the girl with the dragon tattoo.
My friend and I actually was joking about how on the score there's a bunch of like especially the glissandos from the notes. They like visually on the score it looks like a dragon with like the ups and downs, and when you play it, then that carries into the sound as well.
If you get really into the piece and you start listening to all the harmonies and how all the pieces with the trumpet and all the other woodwind parts work, I think you kind of go into this trance and you see what Charles Ives was doing with the whole idea of the universe and the unanswered question and humanity. So I think once you get really into it and focus, it leads you to somewhere else, and I find that really magical, should I say. Yeah, it's really cool.
I perform and I also compose, and my piece is being played today. It's been a great experience. I think it's always a good opportunity to have other people play your music and even to play it yourself and just to have it exposed to the public. My piece is called, it's a set of pieces called myths, so they're based on mythology from different countries, and this is the first one. It's Nyx, which is the Greek goddess of the night. So it's a mood piece. It's supposed to convey her shadowy, elusive, and mysterious kind of character, and I didn't use brass instruments because I wanted a more subtle and softer palette. So that's what, and there will be more myths coming in the future.
The compositions really spoke to them, to the student audience, and it was really obvious that these pieces had deep meaning, and the meaning to the composers was expressed through the music they wrote. That was really the most fantastic thing.
I would like to say that I'm grateful to Alex Pauk and the board of the Esprit Orchestra for continuing the Creative Sparks program at our school. It's a great opportunity for our student composers to get their feet wet in writing for small orchestra or medium-sized orchestra. This is something that is very rare in high schools. I mean, the composition programs in general are rare in high school. So for us to be able to cap students' high school experience with the Esprit Orchestra project is really a privilege and a pleasure.